The 2002 season was a year dominated by Marcus Grönholm and Peugeot. The big Finn won 5 rallies on his way to his second championship win. No one was able to challenge Grönholm for the title, as the Finn was consistent, something that no one else was that year.
Yes, for most of the season, Richard Burns, the 2001 champion, was Grönholm's closest challenger, but the Brit's title defence would not last long as he rolled from the lead in New Zealand, handing his teammate the title. Burns' retirement from the last 3 rounds of the season meant that Solberg finished as runner-up, some 40 points behind Grönholm.
But we're not here to talk about the 2002 season as a whole. That's a story for another time. We're here for the last ever proper safari rally.
Indeed, Kenya played host to the 8th round of the season, and back then the event was quite different to what we see nowadays.
Yes, the special stage format was still used, but the roads were still open, which meant there was oncoming traffic for the competitors. But that was the least of their worries, as the tests were long, like very long. The rally consisted of 12 stages, the shortest of which was a nice 75 kilometers. In total, the event had a competitive stage distance of over 1,000 kilometers, something that we've obviously not seen since.
Even the shakedown was eventful, with Gil Panizzi having to swerve to avoid oncoming traffic. What was he even doing at the safari?
Well, he was actually third in the championship at the time, so he had a chance and shit. If Peugeot wanted to send a 4th car, it's fine, it's their money.
Speaking of Peugeot, Marcus Grönholm got the rally underway on Friday, hitting first onto SS1. His rally would only last a couple of kilometers, with the 206 suffering a camshaft failure.
With the championship leader out, this was a prime opportunity for the others to cut down on Grönholm's lead. But it wasn't going to be easy. The stage was rough, very rough. So rough in fact, that the section of the stage was nicknamed the Rockery. Just look at it.
And the stage wouldn't take long to take more victims. Panizzi broke his suspension and lost 25 minutes, and Petter Solberg picked up a puncture and also had a clutch failure. His teammate Tommy Mäkinen fared better, winning the stage, ahead of Citroen's Thomas Radstrom. Marko Märtin completed the top 3.
Stage 2 was faster and smoother in places, but it still took some prisoners. Armin Schwarz, who had finished on the podium last year with Skoda, had his Hyundai do the Hyundai on his way to the stage, and Marko Märtin picked up 2 punctures. Solberg was held up in his dust.
Rotsrem also hit trouble, making it back to service on 3 wheels. It was his teammate who had the belter on SS2, with Loeb finishing in 3rd, 15 seconds behind stage winner Colin McRae.
Speaking of McRae, the Scot took a massive cut on this stage, taking on the grass to avoid the holes and bumps on the road. Funniest thing about this was, as impressive as it looked, he actually lost time.
Stage 3 was full of potholes, which caused Sainz to pick up a puncture, with the Spaniard then having to stop, as co-driver Luis Moya hadn't done his seatbelts properly. Elsewhere, Richard Burns' impression of Elfyn Evans continued, with the Brit getting past Mäkinen on the stage. He was down in 10th, 14 minutes off the pace.
Loeb's charge was halted by broken shock absorbers, which injured the Frenchman's back. Daniel Elena drove the car back to service to help the Frenchman. Mäkinen dominated the stage, finishing a minute ahead of second. Wait, what? Panizzi was second on this stage?
Gravel specialist in the making? Stage 4 was a 100-kilometer beast of a test, but was surprisingly tame. Tony Gardemeister's rally came to an end, but apart from that not much happened. So at the end of day 1, Tommy Mäkinen was leading the rally, just 16 seconds ahead of Colin McRae, with Carlos Sainz in 3rd place.
Frederick Dorr was in 12th.
Who?
Frederick Dorr? He even had the 2002 Impreza for this rally.
And why is this important?
He was the 1999 French gravel champion, for God's sake.
Anyways, Saturday's opener was rocky. Very rocky. McRae was the first to hit trouble, hitting a bird at a high-speed section. Rally leader Tommy Mäkinen would come off worse. The Finn lost his shock absorbers and lost more than 8 minutes. He even held up Colin McRae, as the Subaru lost connection to the spotter helicopter, and the Finn was not aware he was disturbing the Scot, much to McRae's annoyance.
The stage winner on this one was actually Sebastien Loeb, picking up Citroen's first ever stage win on gravel. The new rally leader was now Colin McRae, who led the event ahead of Carlos Sainz and Harry Rovanpera. Stage 6 would be cancelled due to a severe case of foggies, which grounded all helicopters.
Stage 7 would bring more trouble for Mäkinen. He picked up a puncture and then slowed down Harry Rovanpera behind. Sainz would be another driver to have a puncture.
Elsewhere, Richard Burns would finally drop the Christian motorist semantics and win a stage. Unfortunately, he was still down in 8th, some 15 minutes off the pace. Kenneth Eriksson, who was an excellent 4th, would retire mere meters from the service park, suffering from a transmission failure.
Stage 8 was the reverse of SS2 and was quite a bit rougher now that it was on the second pass. Mäkinen's rally came to an end with the Finn suffering a broken suspension. Sainz would also retire with low fuel pressure.
Would you believe it? Gilles freaking Panizzi won the stage, 5 seconds ahead of Loeb. With all this chaos, McRae still led, ahead of Rovanperä, with Marco Martin recovering to 3rd. Richard Burns would have a heartbreaking DNF, as he drove with a puncture on the road section, and then got stuck in the service park, unable to reach Peugeot's tent despite his best efforts, retiring from the event.
The day would end with a great stage from Loeb, winning it by 44 seconds ahead of Panizzi.
The final day of the rally would feature 3 stages, all of which were reruns of Friday and Saturday stages. The top 2 were separated by about 2.5 minutes, and each chose opposite strategies for Sunday. McRae chose to go flat out, whereas Rovanperä opted to back off and see if anything could happen to the Scot.
Michael Park would forget his space notes in service, meaning that Marco Martin would have to navigate the stage blind, with his only guide being his spotter helicopter. That cost him any chance at a podium finish, with Thomas Radstrom now in a prime position to secure Citroen's first top 3 finish on gravel. Further back, we had the battle of the incompetents for the last manufacturer's points paying positions, with Roman Cresta, Juha Kankkonen and Alistair McRae, all of which were struggling with issues with the cars throughout the rally. McRae was actually the driver with the least troubles on Sunday, shaving time off the rest. The problem, however, was that he was more than 10 minutes behind Kankkonen in the Hyundai.
The rest of the day was not the most eventful, with Loeb breaking his suspension and dropping behind Martin in 5th place, and with Panizzi picking up another stage win, a minute ahead of Martin. In the end, Colin McRae would manage his lead perfectly to win the 2002 Safari Rally ahead of Harry Rovanperä and Thomas Radstrom. Elsewhere, Panizzi would secure his first points on gravel in 6th. He was even asked about his championship chances for 2002, which I found quite funny. He even said he will try to win it in 2003 with his new gravel experience, which I found even funnier. McRae would actually become the most successful WRC driver at the time, securing his 25th WRC win, passing Juha Kankkonen.
In the end, this would mark the last time that the Safari Rally would be held in the WRC for almost 20 years, as the event was dropped from the calendar for 2003 and subsequent seasons. The event was mired in financial instability, with unpaid fees to the FIA, as well as an incompatibility with the WRC's modern format and organisational issues, including safety issues both on the stages and service park.
The rally would return to the calendar in 2021, but would be a more quote-unquote watered-down version, with normal stage lengths and a cloverleaf format. That doesn't mean the roads were not rough though, far from it. It was a proper challenge, with the rally still being the toughest and roughest rally on the calendar.
This would also be Colin McRae's last ever win in the WRC, with the Scot ending his career with 25 victories.
Anyway, that's the video guys. Let us know your thoughts on the last proper Safari rally in the comments below, and let us know what other rally you'd like to see us review in the future. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.